there, moguls. It's me, Marshall Sylver, your personal millionaire maker. Getting very excited about my brand new show, 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. I'm going to broadcast live to you. In the first hour of the broadcast, I'm going to give you content, information for better sex, more money, emotional, mental, physical, and even spiritual power. I'll also invite some of my cool multi-millionaire and billionaire friends onto the show to give you more direction, more advice, more strategies and gambits for having it all. The second hour is what I'm most excited about. It's when I get a chance to chat with you. Yes, you. Where you can call in, talk to me, ask me questions. And if you say the secret word of the day, you could win $5,000 cash. At the very least, if you're the most interesting call of the day, you could also win 10 ounces of freshly minted Marshall Sylver 999 Fine Silver. All of that and more. Brand new Mercedes-Benz sedan or SUV up for grabs. My personal Rolls-Royce Phantom up for grabs. All the knowledge to get everything you want and so much more. All you got to do is log in to the show to get information about its release coming up. 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, coming to you live from the bunker right here at Studio Money. I'm Marshall Sylver, your personal millionaire maker.
Let me bring in our hypnotist, Marshall Sylver.
It's Marshall Sylver, ladies and gentlemen, the world's fastest hypnotist.
Well. Isn't that sexy? Welcome aboard. So glad you are with me. I love this. I love hanging out with you. I love my life. I'm giddy right now. You know, you are one idea away from $1 billion. And nobody taught me that better than my original mentor, a man named Chuck Martinez, who reinvented Halloween. He's the guy that created the idea of putting Halloween stores into empty big boxes, big stores that were empty, didn't have anybody there, but only renting the space for 30 days, therefore getting rid of his overhead for the rest of the year and maximizing the profitability on something that's only celebrated for 2 weeks out of the year. You know, you go to parties for 2 weeks for Halloween and that's it. So at any rate, he reinvented Halloween. Made hundreds of millions of dollars with one idea. So many things going on right now. I had an epiphany this morning while I was in the spa, and the epiphany was major. And I'm positive I'm on track. It's a good thing. Everything happens for a reason, and it serves us. And you just got to pay attention. If you're not paying attention, then what happens is things that should have been obvious aren't. Opportunities that were thrown in your face aren't even noticed, and you miss out. So everything happens for a reason, and it serves me should be your mantra for the day. Sometimes we're clueless. There was a woman, she went to her doctor, and she was in the doctor's office, a mature woman, a leveled up woman. And she said to the doctor, she said, "Doctor, I have this incredible challenge. I fart nonstop, but my farts are silent and you can't smell them. There's no scent to them, but I can feel it in my body, and it's very disturbing." And she said, "In fact, I've farted 15 times since I came into your office." And the doctor said, "Here, take this medication, contact me in a week. Let's see where we are." And the woman leaves, takes medication, comes back. She says, "Doctor, I appreciate it. You know, I got to tell you, I still can't hear my farts, but they smell horrible. They're just horrible. And, you know, you got to help me." He said, "Great. Now that the medication has helped clear your sinuses, let's take a look at your hearing." Anyway, just my take. Today's guest is a friend of mine, actually, somebody that I have known for a little while, and I adore him and his family. Jordan Solomon is a retired yacht captain. So you know this guy has hung out with and been in the midst of massive amounts of money because there's nothing about a boat that's cheap. He is not only a retired yacht captain and manager, he's a serial entrepreneur. He's the founder of Atomic Wealth Strategies, which, as you can see, I'm promoting right now. And he's a dedicated man who's dedicated to educating and empowering entrepreneurs on the core pillars of life: health, wealth, and alignment. Jordan's primary mission in life is to create a massive philanthropic impact in his community while inspiring others to step into their greatness. It is with great excitement and gratitude that I welcome to Marshall Sylver Live my great friend, Jordan Solomon. Welcome to the show, my friend.
What's going on, Marshall? Nice to see you.
Always awesome to see you. Life is good. You clearly are working out there, and I want to share with everybody, since we met, you have become substantially healthier. Tell them how much fat you took off your body over what period.
So we're approaching 65 pounds. The accelerated process really started happening in October. We started May 1st of last year, but we really kicked it into gear October of last year. And that's when I've had the most significant improvement on my biomarkers, the fat loss, just all kinds of improvement in my quality of life. I'm sleeping better. I've got energy to throw our children around and play with them all day. And it's just been, a massive, massive change. I mean, when you met me, I was at my heaviest. You probably remember that.
I do. Yeah, you're looking amazing. You look absolutely fantastic. So I want to talk about obviously what you're doing to help people right now, but I want to talk a little bit more about your health journey first, since 65 pounds, that's a lot of fat. And you're a different person. You don't look anything the same. You look smoking hot. Not that you weren't hot before, but you were a hot mess before, and now you're lean. What were some of the major things that happened? Obviously, you're on your treadmill right now, so you made a conscious decision to get more active. You found a phenomenal mentor in Frazier, and I want to talk about Frazier. And you also had a remarkably generous friend gift you this beautiful cold plunge that I know you love, because I see tons of videos of you and the family, including the kids, by the way,
Oh,
taking
yeah.
those chills. So talk to me about, some of the elements that have made a difference, and what people watching the show right now could do to get healthier themselves.
So I want to tell you, and, give credit where credit is due. It started with you, right? This entire journey started with you. And as we were moving forward in our journey, there was a period of time, like right around that April, May of 2023, where I felt like I was doing things a little bit backwards, right? So for anybody who doesn't know, Marshall, you're my mentor. You are the most phenomenal component in our lives that has, guided us towards making more money, having better relationships. Amanda and I, my fiance, are much better, together since meeting you and joining the inner circle. Our children have a better father. All of these things started coming together when we got into your ecosystem. And we went down this path where I joined the community to learn how to become a better speaker. I had a massive challenge, an unfounded challenge, with getting up on stage and presenting and doing, presentations and stuff like that. And it's just because I hadn't done it before, so it was an unknown to me. And after, spending some time with you, I realized, like, oh man, I want to do this all the time. I want to get on stage. Like every opportunity I get to grab the mic, I don't want to give it back. The challenge is that I started to feel like I was doing a massive disservice to the people around me, because I had great opportunities throughout my life that have always been presented to me. And because of that, I got into this, for the last 3 or 4 years, I got into this position that I call, I was really fat and happy. Like things were just, opportunity was coming, abundance was coming, our cup was overflowing, and we got content to the point where one day we looked around and we're like, oh my goodness, I've put on over 60 pounds of fat on my body. Amanda was heavier than she had ever been with any of her 3 children. And we had to dig deep on that and figure out what the heck is going on. Like, our lives are so great. Why is this happening? And, you start to look at your habits and you realize what's going on. And with your training, I wanted to go out there and teach people how to become the best version of themselves in mass, get on stages and coach people and teach people. And we even started a master, like we started, this is a funny story. We started a mastermind, and inside of 2 weeks, I got over $250,000 worth of commitments, soft commitments, people who were willing to send us money in exchange for joining our community and us coaching and teaching them several things, mostly about how do you make more money, which is something that we know how to do, especially with your help. We know how to do like massively well. But I had this like really like this thing that was tugging on me like an anchor almost. And I'm 261 pounds. And while we're doing well in our life financially, I was like really wondering, am I the person that should be teaching other people how to live their lives? Like, am I exhibiting what I would want other people to see? Am I the example I want everybody to see? And the answer was an astounding no. So I had to like really, really dig deep. And I looked at Amanda one day and I said, we're not going to do this mastermind right now. And she looked at me like I was nuts, because that's a lot of money, right? For
$250,000 nuts, yeah.
By anybody's standards. And I said, we're going to go on a different journey, and it's going to take us down a different path, and it's probably going to take us a lot longer, but I'm willing to bet that 250 will turn into 25 million if we make the decision now to take our health and take our fitness to the next level, become the real example that other people need in their lives, which is how do you live in alignment to where all things feed all things? How do your finances feed your health? How does your health and finances feed, living in alignment with your life, being the best version of yourself for your friends, your family, your partners, your business partners, your children? Like, how does that quality of life get to 1,000 as opposed to, I would say most people are not even living 100% of their potential. But how do you take it to 1,000? So we went on this journey and we have not looked back. And now both of us have removed over 110 pounds of fat combined. We know it's fat because we've gone through a body composition. We've done DEXA scans. We've gotten blood work. We joke with each other because we're both younger biologically than when we met each other. I've removed over 6 years of biological age, according to my blood work. And I think Amanda was like 8 years or something. Like, it's almost illegal to be engaged to her at this point.
Yeah. So obviously your health has been massively turned around. You're looking amazing. Glad to hear about your relationship with Amanda. For those that may not know you guys, you proposed to Amanda on stage at Turning Point. And I thought it was so great. It's just been so much fun. Obviously, you and your bride-to-be and your kids are great friends of my family. We love you very much. Love hanging out at theme parks with you and just being together. Talk to me about the direction your business is going. Obviously, you founded Atomic Wealth last year. I know that originally it was created to do some very specific things, but like everything healthy and huge, from Amazon all the way down, things evolve to their natural state. Talk to me about what it's looking like these days. What is Atomic Wealth?
So Atomic Wealth now is, I've gotten into this position where, like, what am I the most qualified to do in our business? And that is to talk about exactly what we're doing in our lives, right? We're taking our health to the next level. We're taking our finances to the next level. And we're doing everything that we can to make sure that every move we make is in alignment with all the things that are going to serve us well. And to explain what that means, I got to backtrack a little bit. And I'm sure this is going to resonate with a lot of people, because most people exchange their time for money. In fact, like I'd argue 90+% of people exchange time for money. And that's something that I've done throughout my entire life. I've been a bartender, I've been a real estate investor, I've been a server, I've been a yacht manager, I've been a yacht captain, I've been a deckhand. Like I've been a construction manager. I've done so many things that by any other people's standards could be the pinnacle of their life, right? I managed a portfolio of yachts valued over $100 million. And that to most people would be like their plateau. They'd be like, hey, this is amazing. I love this. I get to go on, these 10, 15, $20 million boats, go wherever I want. I can take them out if I want, if I've got a good relationship with the owner, which I have done previously. And that just never made me internally happy. Like there's always been a piece that's been missing in every single thing that I've done where I'm exchanging my time for money. And I sold my yacht management business in 2019, and I took what I thought was going to be like a little bit of a retirement. I sold it at the end of 2019. COVID hit in March. That was the best play that I've ever done in my entire life. Like you couldn't have planned that any better. But I sat back and was wondering, like, what are my next steps? What am I going to do to produce money? And I spent time learning how to become a real estate investor. I spent time doing several different things, and nothing really kind of there was nothing that I was passionate about. One of the big things that we started Atomic Wealth Strategies for was to do tax planning and wealth preservation for ultra high net worth people. And, that sounds fun. And I promise you, it's anything but that. So I have a nickname amongst our friends and colleagues that I am the Minister of Fun. As you know, whenever I come to Turning Point, I take our guests out in limos. We go out for dinner. We go out night on the town. Like that's just how I like to enjoy my time here in this world. And sitting around discussing taxes, while it can be a lucrative business, it's just, man, it's like sitting in a dentist chair. So
but more painful, frankly.
Yeah. As we were course correcting in our own lives, and as we were seeing and feeling the impact that we were having on ourselves, as a couple, when you start losing a massive amount of weight together and you're getting sexier and you're getting more energetic and you're just having more fun, like there are things that come with that are extremely fun. And I saw what was happening in our lives, and I saw the impact that it was having on our kids. And then the light bulb went off. And I was like, man, I want to bring that to other people. And I realized very quickly that not only was I passionate about that impact, but I thought about the systemic obesity that we have in this country right now. And I was like, okay, so the market's unlimited, right? So we have an unlimited market opportunity. So I get both fulfillment financially and that impact that I'm looking for. So with Atomic Wealth, we've course corrected, and now we're just going to simply teach people how to be healthier in your life, how to make more money, because as you taught me, money cures most things. And step one, when you have more money, you have the ability to build studios in your home like we did, go to sauna experiences, 7 days a week, buy into mentorship and network with people who will gift you, cold plunges worth, several $1,000s. That is the stuff that we want to teach people. Like, how do you get to that point where your life is one of attraction, to where all these things just keep coming to you and you're the living example to show other people how to do the same. So that's what we're going to do with Atomic from here on in.
You posted something the other day, and I love you very much. And you and I have hung out enough back in the days when I drank for us to really know each other. And one of the things that you posted about, you were talking about people over profits. And every once in a while, I'll see people post that and, talk about, well, I'm not doing this for the money and, I'm doing this for the people. And I get the idea. I get the sentiment. I also know it's not sustainable. And the reason I say that out loud, and I know you know this, is I've seen too many people that were 100% for giving people value, but they themselves weren't making money and they just couldn't sustain it. And unfortunately, good things went away because we live in a capitalistic society. I saw the post, people over profits. I don't believe they're mutually exclusive, but and I also believe, I'm here to make a difference, but if I'm not making a profit, I'm going to go find a different way to make a difference. And that's where I stand. I'm very clear about that. Yes, I like money. Yes, I like making money. Yes, I expect to be compensated for my efforts, my skill set, my talent, my knowledge. And I also believe that people vote with their wallets. And certainly you and your bride are a classic example of people who invested a lot of money in yourself. You are involved with Fraser Bailey, and obviously Fraser is one of the top fitness experts in the world, an amazing human being. My experience with people like Fraser, and I don't know this specifically because I don't know him. I have not interacted, not done much research. My experience, though, is that often people that are in businesses that help other people get on an altruistic path. And rather than just say, no, I'm freaking here to make money, they get on that path, and it's a really hard path to shake. Meaning people start asking for free things. And hey, if you're in it for the people over profits, then why are you charging me? And I just shut that down right away because I say, you need to commit. And people commit with their wallets as much as they vote with their wallets. You need to commit. If you had $10 million on the line as to whether or not you'd get fit in the next year, I guarantee you'd get fit in the next year. Everybody would. And what most people don't realize is they've got $1 billion on the line as far as their health is concerned. Because if you don't have your health and you have $1 billion, you don't have anything. So
I've
talk to
seen
me
that.
about the post. Talk to me about your mindset, because obviously I'd never seen you post anything like that before. And when I saw it, it was a bit jarring because I felt like you forgot everything I taught you. So help me understand what's your thought on that, and where is the line between profits and people? Because if there's no profits, there's no way to help people. So what's your take on that?
So you do your event Turning Point, and one of the lessons that you teach in that turning point, and one of the examples that you give, is that you're there because you love people. You love
Partly.
people. You love.
I love $10,000 or $15,000 ahead in sales too, though.
You do, and you also love what you do, and
Yes.
You have said repeatedly that you selfishly want to be the reason or the thing people credit, the person that people credit to have changed their lives because of their interaction with you.
Yes, I'm selfish that way.
So I have the same feeling, because Amanda and I weekly, we get 10, 15, 20 people saying, love what you're doing, you're inspiring me, you're this, you're that, all this stuff. They're not paying me yet. They will. So in my eyes, I believe that when you serve others and when you serve them to the capacity that they need, there's no amount of money that they're unwilling to separate themselves with and give you, as long as you're of service to them. Just like you're of service to Amanda and I. And before we even got the full service, I was willing to give you $120,000. Right? So my people over profits is not, I'm going to serve people without keeping the profit in mind. That I cannot continue to serve people unless the profit is at the forefront of what our exchange is going to end up being. Now, I did post that because I've actually been having a lot of conversations with Fraser as we take on one of these challenges that we're doing together. He has he like me in the past, before I started training with you, he has this desire to just give, and like
Right.
just wants to be massively of value to people. And it's like, oh, you missed a payment, that's fine. Or, you know, he feels bad for charging what he knows he should be getting charged.
Yeah,
Like,
he is the epitome of what I was describing.
yes, 100%. And he knows that. And that's one of the things that I've been saying is like, we will not go down that path because we will not win. I'm you for him, like you were you for me as we started our journey. Because in my yachting experience, the price of things was just the price of things, and it was just expected. Like if you want internet on your boat, it's going to be $250,000. And people don't blink at that. They just say, I want internet on my boat. And I say, okay, I'm going to get you internet on your boat. No big deal. But the moment I removed myself from that type of environment and people were paying me specifically for like some exchange of like coaching or intellectual property or a service, I found myself in this weird position of like wanting to give discounts or like wanting to like make sure that they were okay with what they were paying. And that was prior to my training with you. Now, after my training, man, you got to pay up. If you want my time, you're going to pay up. And I am incredibly expensive. So, yeah, that's it. My philosophy on people over profits is a little bit different than what other people probably feel internally about, you know, I just want to help people and I just want to, you know, be the best for everybody else. I've seen that so much in my life as well. You know, friends and family, that they're always doing stuff for other people. And while that's great, they have a limited capacity because they are not bringing in the resources that they need to serve at a higher level.
I would agree. Yeah, yeah. So, and you know what I said was, when I see people talk about that, I get the sentiments, but again, like I was talking about Fraser, or a lot of hypnotists are that way. A lot of life coaches are that way, where they simply say, you know, I'm not in this for the money. I'm just in this to help people. And I think that the bigger, better position is, yes, I'm absolutely in this for the money, and money, the love of money is the root of all evil, meaning I'm not going to make a decision on what I'm going to do based on whether or not I'm going to make money over whether or not I'm going to help you. And I think that that's the biggest thing that I want people to get, because that allows them to do greater things. It's the guru, the yogi who does yoga that also is a billionaire. It's the Joel Osteens of the world that, you know, get criticized for being a pastor and yet being worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And I don't have a judgment of those people. I'd rather my pastor was a billionaire than a pauper. Sorry, Jesus. I would rather that my pastor demonstrated how do you utilize God's blessing? How do you receive that? And again, I understand Jesus's teachings. That wasn't a knock. But given the choice between living like Jesus and fasting every single week and having people crucify me, I'd rather be Joel Osteen. So with that in mind, I'm going to pause this. We're going to take a look at a quick video for Turning Point we've got coming up in July. And I've got 5 pairs of tickets available to the first 5 people who contact our office at 1-800-92-POWER and tell them, hey, I've never attended Turning Point. We're going to take a short break, come back with more with Jordan Solomon, Atomic Wealth Strategies. But here is Turning Point.
Turning Point. A total change in direction for the better.
Who here is ready for a turning point? You absolutely have to have one. Put them high.
The 2-day Turning Point seminar is different than any other program in that it does more than just teach you the skills for your relationships, wealth, and power. It also programs you on a subconscious level to put those skills into immediate use.
This weekend is about empowerment. This weekend is about you understanding how to take charge of your own life.
You will learn total control of your thoughts and emotions. How to use PND, or psychoneural duplication, to take on the thoughts and actions of others to produce similar results. Whether it's losing weight, changing habits, being a millionaire.
When you think what a millionaire thinks and you do what a millionaire does, you'll produce similar results.
you will learn to program these powerful tools at a subconscious level for immediate and lasting results.
Your conscious mind is what's called your critical factor. It's the mind you're using right now to determine whether the information I'm giving to you will work for you or not. Your subconscious mind, on the other hand, is merely a computer. It's non-critical. It doesn't even have the ability to make judgment. So all trance, hypnosis, reprogramming is setting aside the critical factor of your conscious mind and non-critically accepting suggestions.
And empowering.
To make a fear vanish, you must experience it fully.
As it helps you create your life exactly the way you want it. Bring your family closer. Find the love of your life. Create strategies for wealth. Learn irresistible influence and so much more. Because of the intimate nature of this course, seats are very limited. Register now before your life passes you by and there are no more turning points for you. Tens of thousands of people have learned this information and are using it daily.
You don't get angry if you get fired from your job and you know that within 2 years you will be a multi-millionaire.
It's your time.
There's a way for you to win this game that is different than how you're doing it, and it works.
It's your life.
When you learn how to do that, you become more powerful, and power is for use.
It's your turning point.
So once again, we've got 5 pairs of tickets to Turning Point. First 5 people who call 1-800-92-POWER and say, I want to join you in Las Vegas. For the first 5 people today, I'm going to give you 2 tickets each worth $3,000. We're back with Jordan Solomon, founder of Atomic Wealth Strategies. Talk to me beyond health, obviously, and everything else you got going on. What else are you doing? You are amazingly connected. You came through Turning Point, became a part of our Inner Circle program. You referred about 44 people to Turning Point. They loved it. They invested in other programs. You and the bride made about $250,000 when the dust settles. You're massively connected. What does that connection, how does that connectivity weigh into what you're doing with your business right now with both Fraser and everything else you're doing inside Atomic?
So I just want to test my mic. Is my mic on?
Yep.
Perfect. I had to switch mics midterm. So yes, we are very, very well connected. And I accredit that to just, it's one of my talents that I'm able to get into the right rooms, and not because of any special thing that I do other than I just take action. I see what I want. I talk to the people that I need to talk to. I don't hold back. I ask the questions. I sit in the front row. I invest heavily into our education. I invest heavily into our relationships. It's probably, I consider our investment into masterminds and seminars and mentorship and all that stuff, I consider it marketing costs and education costs, because I'm going to find somebody at any place where there are other like-minded people. I'm going to find somebody there that's a resource that's going to help serve something that I need. So one of the things that, in fact, I posted about this recently. I just had an awesome conversation with Andrew, I think his name's Andrew Kirby, who is hosting the school games with Alex Hermosi. One of the things that we're going to win next month. Mark my words, this is on video. We are going to win that challenge next month. And, you know, I started talking about, like, how do you tap into this network that we've created, this massive, you know, network full of, you know, 7 to 9 figure entrepreneurs, and how do you get them to take action on your behalf without it being some sort of like an ask, right? So how do you tap into the network for like a short-term project when you've built this long-term network? And, you know, we were discussing back and forth of, like, you know, determine what certain people want and what their desires are and what level of impact they're looking for. And so right now, our desire, and one of the things that I'm working with Fraser on, is we want to get people to have the transformation that I've had over the last year, because I truly believe it's the first step towards the rest of their lives. And here's why. I knew that with your training, like, the ideas started flowing in. I started getting better at presentations. I stopped being camera shy. In fact, I built an entire recording studio in our home thanks to the power that you gave to me to be able to do stuff like this. There was no way on the planet before I was training with you that if somebody was like, hey, Jordan, do you want to stand up on stage and talk? Forget, there's no way. There's no way that that would have happened. In fact, I think it was like the first turning point that we went to, the talking towel that you toss out in the room almost came to me, and I was like, hell no, like I want nothing to do with that. And now I'll reach up and grab that thing. But that brought us to a point where I knew I was ready to just make a phenomenal amount of money, because now I solved the challenge that I had, which is, how do I teach something in mass? How do I get on stage, serve one to many, and have people begging me for what I'm selling? So I feel like we've solved that. The next challenge that I had was an internal one, right? It's, how do I get up on stage and feel comfortable enough in my own skin so that like that message is really pouring out into the crowd, that confidence level is on, cloud 9. Like, how do I get that as well as the confidence of just being able to speak well? So we went down the journey. We solved that. Now I'm literally like a machine. Like, I am ready to rock. I'm ready to hop on stages. I'm ready to sell like a machine. I'm ready to show you how good your training is. And what I'm partnering with Fraser on is to help other people, other entrepreneurs, get that into their lives. Because I think that's one component that a lot of people are missing, is they might have a self-confidence issue due to health. Like, behind closed doors, how do you feel? Are you sleeping well? Do you have a low body fat percentage? Are you able to walk several miles, around your block every morning? Do you have good habits? Do you take good supplements? Do you eat well? Like, all of those things stack up to the person who ends up on stage and is presenting to others. So what we want to do is we want to take people down that journey of like, let's fix that. Then let's get you over here and let's get you the next set of tools, which is, how do you present well? How do you sell well? How do you communicate better? And I think it's a journey that most people need to go through, because if you look at most people that even come to Turning Point, I'd be willing to bet that while you could change everyone in that room and have them become better speakers, are they going to be internally confident in themselves if that health thing is still like an anchor that's dragging them down? So that's where we're at. And that's almost like our funnel. That's almost like our ascension model of like, how do we get people to solve this, become incredibly confident, incredibly healthy? Because when you're healthier, you can pay better attention in your training when you go to learn how to make money, and when you go to learn how to sell and craft presentations that do well.
Going back to your health, what do you suppose was the biggest impact? You and I started on the journey together. You have massively excelled in this area. I unfortunately injured my knees playing racquetball in July, and it's taken me all this time to figure out a solution. I'm 2 weeks into the PRP injections. They told me that it would take about a month to see any kind of benefits from it. You did something though, because we both stopped drinking alcohol basically at the same time and both started losing weight very quickly. But then you went on a diet that was very specific in the micro bowl field. How much impact did that have? Because that's when I saw the weight start pouring off of you. Obviously, that was right when you connected with Fraser. He took a look at everything you were doing and said, "This is the best way to do this." How much did the macro bowls and just changing the diet impact your health levels now?
Oh my goodness. It was the closest thing to magic, right? Like the fundamentals behind the training that I got from Fraser was it was like, once you look at it, it's like, man, this is such simple stuff and it has such massive impact. So I think the key components, you cannot outwork a bad diet. And I thought, because I was at a kind of a different level than most people, where like, I don't eat anything out of a box. I don't eat anything out of a can. I don't eat anything with preservatives. Like, I've always been that way. In my yachting career, I mean, we would fly in, Michelin star chefs to cook. And like, that's just how I ate for a good portion of my life. So I thought that like I was eating and consuming good foods. I always ate whole foods. I didn't eat a lot of pastas. I didn't eat a lot of breads, except you realize very quickly, the moment you spend a little bit of time actually counting like your macros and your micros and counting, how much fat to protein to calorie does an egg have? How much fat to protein to carbs does a ribeye have? And then how many ounces are you eating? Because I mean, we've had some phenomenal dinners together where I've put down a 16-ounce ribeye. And it's until you realize, like, not only is that like 1,600 calories, but it's probably 40 or 50 grams of fat. And then when you start learning,
you're just making me hungry now. That's not fair.
Same. I've been fasting all morning, so I'm incredibly hungry.
Me too. I don't eat anything before the show, and so all this talk of food not really
I've
helping my
actually
plan.
been doing the same thing almost by default. And then when you mentioned it, when you started this show, I was like, oh, that's perfect. Like, when the show's over, we'll have our first meal of the day.
Yeah.
So
the good news is I'm on Pacific time. The bad news is you're on East Coast time.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the biggest components, the three key things that really changed a lot for us, and I started seeing massive change, even if I weren't to layer in all the other stuff. Like, we go to the gym, we have the sauna, we have the cold plunge, like all of those things are really bonuses. But I think the core component is the macro bowls that we eat, right? So it's very, very specific. And it's also like, we spend less time eating now or preparing food now than we ever have in our lives together by eating these macro bowls. So you get a portion of protein and you don't have to weigh anything out. You just pick a really relatively lean protein and you use, a measuring cup. So you'll add 3/4 of a cup of a protein. So what we do is we just cook, we meal prep roasted chicken. We just make, 3 or 4 pounds of roasted chicken, dice it up into little pieces. You take your little measuring scoop and you measure out 3/4 cups of that. So now you've got your protein. So now you got to get a starch or a carbohydrate, right? So I normally use like sweet potato. So you season up some sweet potatoes, make it taste super yummy. Then the next thing that we add to it is we add like power greens. So not like your romaine lettuce. We add like baby spinach. That's typically our go-to. So that's like the power green. You cannot overload on spinach. You just can't do it. You can eat an entire bag of spinach and you will be full, and it'll be like 100 calories. So you just make a bed of spinach, you throw your chicken on top, you throw, a 1/4 cup or a 1/2 cup of some roasted sweet potatoes on there, which you've prepped for the week. Then another thing that Fraser focuses on is making sure that we're properly serving the gut. So we do fermented foods. So stuff like sauerkraut or kimchi, these are fermented foods that have all those, bacterias and stuff that just they really do well at feeding your gut. And a lot of people don't realize that the term "I've got a gut feeling" is because your gut is your second brain. Like, there's a lot of information coming out right now that we could be driven mostly by our gut and the bacteria that's in our gut. And
You don't think it's a little bit lower?
yeah, for some of us, for the men, yes, it could be lower, but we could be driven by that gut bacteria. And because of that, if you're destroying it with alcohol, if you're destroying it with highly processed foods, you're going to be not operating properly up here as well. Like, they both feed each other. So having the fermented foods, couple scoops of kimchi up in the meal. And then the next thing is like a living food. So we chose broccoli sprouts, which have 100 times more of a specific chemical or nutrient, I forgot what it's called, than actual like grown broccoli. So the sprouts themselves have 100 times more of this nutrient property that is a cancer deterrent. So I just grab a handful of that and I throw it on top. So that's your macro bowl. Now, Fraser's very specific on the portion sizes and how many you should eat of these throughout the day. And I spent about a month weighing all this stuff out and calculating all the micros and macros just because I wanted to know a little bit more about my food. And I recognized that although the protocol called for 2 of these things, you could eat 3 big bowls of food and you would still be in a massively caloric deficiency for the day. And there's no way to not lose weight. It's impossible to not end up in a fat burning state if you just eat those meals the way that he's designed them. So that's number one. It's like, what are you consuming every day? So then not only what are you consuming, but how much of it? So while you could eat 3, the protocol calls for 2. And it's like, man, you're eating 1,600 calories worth of food, but it's a big bowl of food. So you are satiated. You are stuffed when you're done eating this. And you can even dial down some of the portions. So that's the first thing that like really changed everything for us. The second thing that was massively impactful was walk after every meal. So raising your step count, which is why I'm here on my treadmill, is something that we reinforce in the superhuman community big time. If you get some sort of tracking device like the Quora Ring or a smartwatch or whatever it is, and for most people who like me, like I spent a lot of time in my studio, I spent a lot of time kind of stagnant and sitting around and looking at charts or doing computer work or whatever it is, you don't realize that you're probably only getting 4,000 to 5,000 steps per day. Most people, especially people with office jobs or people that work from home, it's so easy because you feel like you're getting stuff done, and you probably are as far as work is related, but as far as your body it comes into context, you're probably not serving your body very well. So when we got our tracking devices, I was between 4,000 to 6,000 steps per day. Now we're tracking between 15,000 and 20,000 steps. And that comes from walking after we eat. So we eat our macro bowl and we design the meal around a specific time in the day where we also know that we're just going to go walk around the neighborhood. And that's been a blessing for us because not only do we sit and have lunch together, it's like our time. We sit, we have lunch, we talk about the things because we're both working on separate projects. Amanda's got the kids, I've got business, and we just kind of connect over lunch and, talk about what we're doing. And then we go on a walk, and we usually dedicate that time to learn something on the walk. Like I'll have a podcast, we'll listen to you. Sometimes we structure lunch to be right before your show or right after, and we'll listen to you on our walk. Or we'll listen to another podcast, or just something that we can consume in that moment that serves whatever we're working on. Or we just talk about whatever we're working on with the kids, and we'll go for a 2-mile walk around the neighborhood. So now, if you're eating twice, you're walking 4 miles. And 2 miles, I think, is about 4,000 steps. So you're approaching 10,000 steps now, just from the 2 times that you're eating these massively nutrient dense and calorie deficient meals. Those 2 things were massively impactful. I mean, I was tracking like 0.5 to 0.8 pounds per day that was just melting off of my body. Couple that with like intentionally eating at certain times that serve you. So like, do not eat before you know you're going to spend 2 or 3 hours sitting down. Eat before you know you're going to be active, just restructuring where your meals are. And then the next thing is hydration. Hydration's huge. I think it's like 76% of Americans are dehydrated, and that causes a myriad of health issues. Causes headaches, all kinds of stuff. And being hydrated to the extent, being hydrated to how you should be hydrated, which I think it's either a half an ounce or 0.8 ounces per body weight, something like that. I just fill this up to 20 ounces and I drink a bunch of these per day. But when you add in the hydration, it does several things. Number one, you're going to be full a lot more. So all those cravings for different types of foods, anytime you crave something, you just drink and switch that craving for water, which you probably need, which is probably where that craving is coming from. And we also add minerals. So we add minerals to all of our water. And that's what your body's craving. Like you think like, oh, I want to go have a snack. No, that's just your body saying, I want some nutrients. I want some minerals. So we just throw some minerals in our water, drink a bunch of water. But when you do that, now you're well hydrated. Your body has everything that it needs. It's super happy. It's full, because you cannot drink 20 ounces of water and then go sit down and eat a bunch of junk food, because you're just not going to want to. So those 3 things were probably the biggest pieces of transformation that we didn't like. Had I have known that before I entered the superhuman community, we would have been, well on our way. Of course, there's bonuses to all of this stuff, getting into the sauna and getting into the cold plunge, which I love that freaking cold plunge, by the way. I'm so grateful. That was the best birthday gift I've gotten in 40 years of life on this planet, by far.
That's awesome.
Thank you so much for that. Now, and it was such a great gift because it's serving our entire family. Like I've gotten gifts. I used to tell people, because I'm a very difficult person to buy a gift for, as you have a birthday coming up. And I always used to tell people, like, just get me a bottle of booze, right? Give me a bottle of rum or give me a bottle of scotch, because like there's nothing that, first of all, you don't have enough money to really appease my appetite. So just give me a bottle of booze and we're good. And so that's usually what my gifts look like, because I'm also particular about what people give me. So that cold plunge, man, that thing is serving our family. The kids have fun with it. Amanda's producing content for her social media, and I've got well over like 50 videos we're going to be launching here soon of stuff that I'm doing in the cold plunge. So super awesome gift, but that's also a bonus. Not everybody needs to start there in their health journey. And the next thing is like getting in and training your body. So there's a difference between going to the gym and working out and training. Massive difference. And training is something that Fraser teaches, and something that we've learned, and something that now we're going to share with our community, so that you can just take those three things, the hydration and increasing step count and, macro bowls, you add training to that. And inside of 60 to 90 days, I mean, you've watched it in us, 60 to 90 days, you will be a completely different person and you'll want more.
Well, I think that's the thing that, there's a tipping point for people. If they get a little bit of a result, that's one thing. But when they start seeing the weight, like you were saying, half a pound to 0.8 pounds a day dripping off their body, then every day they're excited to step on the scale. And I think that that's ultimately what keeps the motivation going. Hey, before we wrap up, any last things you want to tell our audience, or how do they get a hold of you? How do they find out more about what you and Fraser are up to? Give us the deets.
So last minute, when you told me that we would have
We
this
had a change in schedule.
I put something together. So Fraser and I have created a free community where you're basically going to be able to go get your lips wet a little bit, right? Like, we're going to show you our results. We're going to give you some awesome freebies. We're going to give you the Superhuman Travel Protocol, which for all of my entrepreneurs who are traveling all the time, they think that was my excuse. Like, hey, I'm traveling all the time. I'm in all these hotels. Like, I don't know how to manage my schedule and my diet and all this stuff. We're going to give you a guide that's going to show you how to have massive transformation inside of 90 days with the Superhuman Travel Protocol. We're also going to give you the Superhuman Blood Work Guide, which is most doctors do not test full blood panel. There are things that, they test just to make sure, you get by and you're a little bit healthy, but there's so much data that you can test for that will show you what levers you need to pull. Do you need to be more hydrated? Do you need to get your cholesterol down? Is your heart healthy? Is your liver healthy? Are there certain enzymes in your body? Your testosterone? So we're going to give you the guide that's going to teach you all of the things that you can go and test for, and even show you what different types of labs and panels that you can run depending on the results that you're looking for. We're going to give you that stuff, and we're going to put you into a community of other people who are looking to transform their lives. And you can get all of that in our literally today created school community. And you can get it from, let's change that because nobody's going to type that in. Let's change it to learnfromjordan.com. So they can go to learnfromjordan.com, www.learnfromjordan.com. And this is going to be a free school community. I'm going to drop my videos like weekly. I'm going to talk about some of the things that I'm doing to have the most impact on my health and wealth. Actually, we're going to talk about how do you make more money. And Fraser is also going to contribute to that community as well. So this is going to be the first stop for anybody who just kind of wants to dip their toes in and maybe see their first 10, 15, 20 pounds, get a little bit healthier, get the brain fog, out of their heads. And then we're also going to talk about how do you use our community to make money.
I love it. Good stuff, man. I'm checking out the page now. I'm joining. Hey, thanks so much for being on the show. Short-term notice. You are an amazing guest. I love you and your family. Glad you're enjoying the cold plunge. And I very much look forward to seeing you soon in person. We've missed your pretty face.
See you soon, Marshall. Thank you so much. We're so grateful to have you in our lives.
You betcha. You take care for now.
Bye-bye.
Life is good. If you are the kind of a person that wants more in your life, check out Jordan's stuff. I guarantee you, if you haven't checked out Fraser's stuff, man, just Fraser's stuff is amazing. And it'll change your life forever. I've watched it in real time before my eyes, and I think that it'll do a great thing for you too. I'm Marshall Sylver. You are totally loved. Great things brewing. If you have not yet made your reservation for the July Turning Point, do so now. It's going to be sold out, 100% full. And so you want to make sure you do that. If you have guests coming, if you're inner circle and you have guests coming, remember that we still have a brand new Mercedes-Benz sedan or SUV up for grabs. I'm telling you, all you got to do is send 10 to 20 guests to the July event. If you're an Inner Circle member, almost surely you're going to win a brand new car on top of the strong six-figure commissions for just referring people. I'm Marshall Sylver. You're totally loved. I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye for now. Hey there, moguls. It's me, Marshall Sylver, your personal millionaire maker. Getting very excited about my brand new show coming up 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. I'm going to broadcast live to you. I'm going to give you content, information, emotional, mental, physical, and even spiritual power. I'll also invite some of my cool multi-millionaire and billionaire friends onto the show to give you more direction, more advice for having it all. All the knowledge to get everything you want and so much more. All you got to do is log in to the show to get information coming to you live from the bunker right here at Studio Money. So stay tuned.